ladies and gentlemen of the board, Mr. Putnam. My name is Rhoda Northrop, and I don't live in Burrowville. I live in Cranston. And I'm here because this is not just a Burrowville issue. It's a statewide issue. And it will also affect Connecticut and Massachusetts because of where it'll be located. We should be ashamed of ourselves. Aside from that, I do want to start on a high note. Actually, I'm very proud of Rhode Island right now because we recently made history. Rhode Island now has the first in the country deep water wind farm off the coast of Rhode Island. Let's give a hand for wind. Now, unfortunately, I have to diverge from that and think about this. How, with all we know, how can Rhode Island possibly be entertaining the idea of this proposed new power plant? I first got involved with this process when I came all the way from Cranston to Burrowville when the governor had been invited to be there and meet with the people of Burrowville. And I want you to know, less than halfway through that presentation, I was in tears. My heart broke for that community, and it still does because this is wrong. I'm a retired registered nurse, and I understand not only the impact on the environment, but the health issues that could result if this power plant does come here. A power plant that will set us back 40 years. Can you imagine that? Set us back 40 years after we're the first in the country to have this wonderful wind farm off Block Island? We must be the laughingstock around the country. To diverge, though, it's wrong. How could Rhode Island be so foolish to even consider this? If this power plant does come to fruition, it'll spew toxic matter over a 100-mile radius into the atmosphere. It will invade every body of water it can possibly reach the bay. It will be in the soil of our gardens, and it'll be in the air that we breathe. We'll absorb it through our skin, we will ingest it, and we will be breathing it. So I guess that means more asthma, more bronchitis, pneumonia. Sometimes with pneumonia you get a collapsed lung, and possibly more lung cancer. Has anyone thought about the fact that if there's a toxic spill or an explosion, Burrowville doesn't have a fire department? Do you know how long it'll take to get emergency response out here to Burrowville? I'm sorry, we're in Warwick. But to get to Burrowville, it'll be over 45 minutes from Providence, and other communities will have to respond as well, probably Cranston. In the meantime, while they're waiting, there will be death and destruction. We can't afford this to happen. How about the fact that the power plant will consume enormous amounts of water? With 2 power plants up and running, the water that will be consumed adds up to millions of gallons of water per day, even during a drought. And most recently, the governor has asked us to reduce our consumption. So do we go thirsty and the power plant gets the water? It doesn't make sense to me at all. And another thing, how about the destruction to the contiguous forest? Does anybody care about that? And does anybody care that the power plant will be twice the size of Providence Place Mall? Can you imagine that? Set down in the middle of a precious forest in a small town like Burrowville? And Rhode Island doesn't need more energy. We have enough because we're more efficient. Just take a look at those yellow tags on your brand new appliances. Invenergy is using and abusing Rhode Island. And what I have to say to them, I think they should go back to Chicago and go back to the drawing board and start designing wind and solar. Now I'm asking the board, before you leave here tonight, would you please sign the petition and just say no to inventing